That way you know who he is.
So,
Exactly.
should feel
You know,
How are you?
come to order. This regular meeting scheduled on June 3rd, 2024. This monthly regular meeting for the town of Blue Comma. Is there a motion on the floor to approve the agenda for this meeting?
I make a motion to approve the meeting.
Is the motion seconded?
Second.
All in favor by saying aye?
Aye.
All opposed? All right, in reference to the approval of the 24-25 budget, is there a motion on the floor to go into public hearing?
So you don't have to have that. You just declare the public hearing.
Is this right, that we needed to? All right, in reference to public hearing, in regards to that, there is no need for an agenda, there is no need for a motion. Mr. Clark, have you prepared to give your presentation? Very well. Chair recognizes Mr. Ralph Hart, interim town administrator, for presentation.
Mr. Mayor, thank you. This meeting has been properly advertised as a public hearing for citizen input on proposed 24-25 fiscal year budget. The budget has been prepared using the revenue neutral formula for the tax rate, since this is a reevaluation year. The current tax rate is 55 cents per 100 valuation, and the rate used for the proposed projected levy for this budget is 38 cents per 100. An increase in this amount will generate $5,773 per penny increase over the 38 cents. Other significant revenues in the budget are electric sales, which are recommended to decrease from the current rate to a new rate per kilowatt hour for an average reduction of 20%. The rate decrease is projected to be in effect for the billing that will take place in July of 24. Another significant revenue is water and wastewater revenues, which are projected to increase based on the results of an ongoing rate study. The rate study is projected to be complete in early fall, and rates will be adjusted as necessary at that time. We do anticipate a rate increase that will be necessary to meet the current needs as identified in the budget. In addition to this, we must remember there's a couple of capital projects that are scheduled for later this year, which will require some borrowing, and payment for these will most likely begin in the 25-26 fiscal year. We will be working to identify any efficiencies we can to offset both of these increases with some of the current things we're working on. Yes, we're focusing more on the electric, but we're still, without our eyes started on the water and sewer as well. The budget from an employee actions, the budget includes additional employees for the utilities fund and 2 upgrades in the general fund. The additional employees are due to the extra workload that has been taken on by these departments, along with safety concerns and retirement of one of the departments. The upgrades in the general fund are to take on functions that have been previously contracted out, completion of activities that are needed but not currently being done. The employees are proposed to receive a 3% COLA beginning the first pay period in July and a 0.5% COLA beginning January 25. Some other expenses in the budget are a review and update of the code of ordinances, the completion of 2 years of audit work, and I will talk a little bit about that. We had anticipated having all of our audits caught up through June 30th, and it looks like we're still on 22, and we're trying to get this. So we allow for 2 years of audits to be, because of the fact that we have to have a contract with the auditor, and the auditor can't give us a contract for 23 till they finish 24. So we do anticipate having 2 years of audit contracts in there. Professional services, of which we've been using an outside CPA to help us get our books in order. We're hoping to eliminate a lot of that of the current years over the next fiscal year. We should have all of our outstanding audits completed and be able to do most of the work associated with it, so we get our personnel trained. And this is not in the current fiscal year, but in the upcoming fiscal year, or the following fiscal year. Police protection, we have left this open while the public safety review of our needs to determine what our future needs are, and will be, to develop a plan to accomplish the needs. Power bill, power bill funds, we've not identified the projects in that fund, and these are things that we talked about a little bit in the work sessions. We've left it open to it for identification, and if not, the money rolls back into the power bill fund, so it's not something you can incorporate into your budget. Other than that, I will say that I'm prepared for the public hearing, or you can call a public hearing order, and we'll see what citizen input is.
Hereby call this public hearing to order. In reference to public comments, or in reference to what Mr. Clark has presented in regards to the next year's fiscal budget. Are there any comments or questions from the public at this time that wish to ask any questions to the board to help clarify certain elements or certain expenditures that we plan on making for the next fiscal year? Please stand up now.
If I may clarify, there'll be a public comment after a general comment.
Yes, there will.
Right.
Yeah, this is strictly for public comment for this budget.
That's right.
Yes, ma'am.
You just said, and I may have missed this part, I haven't read through the whole thing, that you're eliminating outside accounting,
Ma'am?
eliminating outside accounting.
Yeah, we have, our audit process, we've gotten years behind, and we've had to bring in an outside person to help us get our books. And we are hoping to eliminate most of that in the current fiscal year.
I understand all that and how it got behind. I'm concerned, I know in years gone by, there have been difficulties when there wasn't enough oversight over the accounting. And that's just my question, where will that come in? And not wait until an actual,
I can answer that if you don't mind.
okay.
I think with the hiring of Mr. Clark as our, I know you said interim, but soon he'll be our permanent town manager. That, to me, in my conversation with him, takes care of the oversight part of it. I really believe in, I believe that he knows enough about it that he's gonna take care of some of the oversight. That's a good question, that's good.
But we're not completely getting rid of the
Oh, yeah.
CPA.
No, ma'am. We
So
won't.
we'll still have the CPA.
Yeah.
Yes, we just won't have to,
There'll be checks and balances.
we just won't be, since hopefully we'll be caught up on the audits and we won't be behind, we won't have to have him on hand as much as we've had to have him.
But he'll still be.
Yes, he'll still be involved, yes.
Are there any additional public comment or questions? Yes, sir.
Nick Randy, just a quick question on the electrical bill. Has the company that does your contract for that, have they come up with a plan? I know it says a modest 15% potential raise in rates. Does that include?
That was water and sewer, I'm sorry.
That's water and
That was
sewer.
water and sewer.
Okay.
There's a 20% decrease in electric.
20% decrease. Is that because of the previous fuel adjustment charges? Or is that just an across the board decrease in the price?
Mr. Clark.
Yeah. What happened a couple of years ago, natural gas spiked.
Right.
And we raised the rates, and we just had not adjusted back down, so that spike coming back down, and the flow of gas, and the cost of gas seems to have leveled out.
Right.
So we're able to reduce the rates back down to what we would have considered normal back a couple of years ago.
Well, that brings up a question of, does the power company have the ability to change, to make an additional charge if those rates spike?
We get 3 different bills for our purchase power.
Right.
We get one's from the generating plant, one's from the gas supplier, and the other's for the transmission that brings it, the lines that bring it in. And as those prices spike, and hopefully they don't, there's no projections. We did make some allowance for it to have some fluctuation.
Right.
Generally in the new rates.
Okay.
Hopefully we will stay in balance in between those highways.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
We need to drop that load at one time.
Yeah,
I'd say half, to make sure everything's leveled out, because
we left enough cushion, we met, we had our, it confirmed that reviewed our way to meet with the utility committee, and we are comfortable with the allowance he made for the gas prices, and based on the graph that he showed us, it was gas prices projected for the future.
that's my concern. It's easy to drop a lot. It's be hard to
Yep.
build them back up, and people will be different.
Yeah, but we
I
still,
say drop them at least half, 10% right now, to make sure we got everything in line.
Well-
We can't predict the future, in my opinion.
we're comfortable with what he's projected.
And part of the problem is not dropping. If you're gonna go up on my water bill as a resident, if you're gonna go up on my water and sewer bill 15%, I need to see some savings somewhere, and I'll take that 20% off the rate. And I understand the water, we've been through that, I understand that, but, I'm
My
pretty
concern is I
comfortable.
don't drop it all at one time, but
Well,
same way with the property rate,
the,
we ain't got money in that for yet. It's,
yeah,
Can't calculate nothing you don't have.
I know, and I realize that, but it's all a gamble, I mean, it's all a crapshoot
Yeah.
when it comes to
I hate
gas
to
prices.
gamble too hard and lose everything.
Well, but, I think I think from the numbers I saw, and that I don't think there's gonna be a problem, and if there is, I think we can see it.
It's easy to put numbers on paper, actually seeing it,
Oh, I know,
a different story.
I know. But if that's the
But-
case, you wouldn't know what to set it with, because you
That's why I
don't.
Yeah.
want, that's why I want to go.
And then that's the
20%
thing,
instead of
he pulled some of the prior years' gas prices, and he made a flow chart there for us to see what they were, how they were fluctuating. I mean, to your point, we cannot predict the
Yeah.
future, but we're gonna have a spreadsheet now that keeps up with all of this and keeps up with the fluctuations, so we'll be able to know what's going on better than we have in the past. So,
And I'm honest with you, Jeff, we've been high enough in the past that it's not gonna hurt my feelings, and I don't think it hurt the town's feelings to be a little more.
Plus all the project.
Oh, I know,
That's
yeah,
going on
but
too.
that's included, all the projects that
Our
we have
cost of
included.
stuff is
in the
still going
rental.
up.
yeah.
Materials are still going up in price.
Yeah, but most of what we would need to do, repair work is not gonna be under electrical, it's gonna be under water, so that's a whole different, that's different money we're talking about. Is that not right?
We have already accounted for the expenditures for the electric.
Correct.
Capital projects, and I've got a little report on tonight, but, in the current year's budget, we were able, it's enough excess in that to fund these capital projects.
Right.
Is there any additional comments from the public or questions? Is there any other discussion between the board to Mr. Clark for his presentation?
We're still on budget.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I noticed on, you got some positions, 2 new positions in there. The utility department,
Mm-hmm.
who are they gonna be fitted?
Sir?
One to replace Tim, and then a new person that's gonna help Jake with the water.
Okay. How about Mr. Goff?
Which golf?
Tom?
Electrical Goff.
Electric golf, he's still gonna be here.
You got a new position there, one of them.
Sir?
He says you're creating another position. He's
Oh,
asking about that.
I am creating an additional position in the electric. One, because of the additional workload we're putting on, but secondly, linemen and people in the electric are difficult to obtain anymore, and I'm hoping, Tom's talking about retiring in a couple of years, and hoping that he can get someone to start filling in some of these holes 2 years down the road, once his project's over.
You talking about Mr. Goff retiring?
Yes, sir.
And another thing on up here on your, did you give yourself a raise from last year, or was it?
I told you I was giving myself a raise.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't just give myself a raise, I made sure you were
We
aware of it.
voted on that.
How was that time ever did?
We voted on it, yeah.
Well, how about is benefits, not y'all vote on that?
I have no
He doesn't-
benefits.
He doesn't give benefits.
Mr. Clark will be operating under, I believe, what was it that we decided was part-time?
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
That's why I asked the question too, because it's under the claim God, he got any benefits, that's why I was questioning it earlier. This is right here, like everybody else is.
Couldn't be the benefits of that, I mean.
That's right.
Well, how about you on the spreadsheet, here you got premiums for the insurance?
Yeah.
Okay.
I won't get any, I can assure you. I won't get anything.
Do what?
I don't get any benefits.
I mean, what is it down here then?
I'm not sure how that one got in there.
That is it. I know they just quoted right here, you say new benefits, a part-time position.
We, from what, and my memory serves me correctly, Commissioners, that we did decide that, and it is on record, that Mr. Clark would not be receiving any benefits.
I know,
due-
I
due
know, I
to
didn't
his
really want to
position.
state for you.
So, that is on record, so if that is if that's in the budget, then obviously, then that's a clerical error. And that should not be in there.
Probably just because everybody else is in there.
Yeah.
I wonder if that was supposed to be the part-time person in the office.
No, that person's back in the electric.
Okay,
Back in, it will be.
then I got nothing. Oh, yes, it'll be part-time, you know.
Are there any additional questions? Mr. Johnson, do you have any additional questions? Or
No, that's all I forgot right now.
the rest of the
All
board
this
have any?
says you.
I'm sorry, sir.
I've got some questions about the check being written.
Which ones are those, sir? Go ahead and bring those up.
No.
Wait, hold
No, no.
on, sir, I'm sorry.
Let's
Is
get
this-
out of order.
Is this in regards to the budget, or is this in regards to the meeting that will take?
No, not this ain't the budget.
Okay,
It's
then that needs to wait. Okay. All right. In regards to the public hearing, once again, is the public have any additional questions? Going once, going twice? Does the board have any? All right. I hereby move to close this hearing. Hereby call to order regular scheduled meeting once again.
Wait a minute, let me make one more comment before you get away from the budget. And I have a note on the, after that, my earlier notes is, the budget ordinance, which is attached, in your agenda packet. We have enclosed the budget ordinance, which is required, the required document that you must approve to officially adopt the 24-25 fiscal year budget. We have requested this be considered at a continuing meeting on June 10th, 2024. This continued meeting was requested to allow time to make budget adjustments that may come from the public hearing. However, if there are no budgets, no adjustments that are required, it can be made on the spot, or can be made on the spot. The budget orders may be adopted at any time, so if you don't want to have a meeting next week, you can adopt this ordinance tonight, in my opinion.
With the adjustment of your,
Well, actually, I'm trying to look at my sheet that I have in mind, and I didn't, this incorporates it, all of our employees, and if I read this across the line here, what was that say, insurance? But anyway, I don't get any insurance, I don't get any benefits, so.
so with that adjustment,
Yeah, it actually, we will just leave it in the line item, and, it will work its way out during the year, just to be noted that I don't receive any benefits. And my hourly rate did go up.
Looking at the budget now, for the next fiscal year. Are there any concerns as into any major changes from the public or from the board that need to be addressed at the June 10th meeting?
Say that again.
Are there any, as per what Mr. Clark has just said, are there any major concerns that need to be addressed so that we can go and readjust the budget and vote on it on June 10th? Or are you satisfied with the current budget that's been presented?
I would say do, Tim said on liquor right now. The wait now, it won't drop again way after the first year.
That's Commissioner Johnson's concerns. Is there a motion on the floor to adopt the budget? Or do you wish to?
I make a motion that we adopt the budget as is.
Is the motion second?
Second.
All right, very well. All in favor for adopting the budget by saying aye?
Aye.
All opposed?
Opposed.
All right, 3-2, motion passes. Motion. I hereby close this meeting for public comment, and also for public hearing regarding the budget. Hereby call in the meeting, regular scheduled meeting dated for June 3rd, 2024. Is there a motion on the floor for approval of minutes and a financial report for this month? Commissioner Johnson, you stated that you had some questions regarding checks that have been written.
Yeah, I'd like to add questions to somebody here. And on the first page, A&T Roads Trucking, who is that?
It's the company that brings the rock in when we need it, and it was brought in for that sinkhole over on, corner of Woodcrest and Lucas,
Perfect.
Irving Tree. So it was rock that was brought in.
Okay. How about Nifty Henna?
That is, can you tell me where that is? That is a utility refund. If you remember, the utility, deposit can go up to 1,040. So when they leave, they're gonna take a large deposit with them once their final bill comes out. So that is for a utility refund,
A refund?
a utility deposit refund.
Okay. How about Transport down, Transeast Incorporated? That's electrical too?
Transeast Incorporated are for, what are those things called?
Transform-
Yep, transformers. Had to buy.
Southeast?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Had to buy some transformers because ones were bad and they needed some in stock.
And Tar Heel Electric, for the electric department also?
Yes, sir.
Red Devil Hardware, what's that at?
Red Devil Hardware, if I remember correctly, is down in Pikeville.
Why can't we buy each step in Wilson County?
I think we can, but one of the gentlemen works there part-time, so he can pick up things while he's there for the town.
Is that a conflict of interest, somebody working here picking it up? And Rosewood Outdoor Equipment,
That is for, some items that needed to be bought for the mowers.
you got another Red Devil Hardware for $200 something. That the same people?
Yes, sir.
And Williams Plumbing Repairs,
That was a plumbing repair that took place at the community building.
and we didn't call Creech or Simpson to do that.
No, sir.
Why don't we keep it in Luke Common, there it is, local Luke Common. And Willoughby Construction Consultant. Is that new person sitting close to you, Ted?
Yes.
Or are they gonna do anything different than you take down?
I don't know what UTEC has done, sir.
Well, the lady in office, if she don't get a report, they have a report to give us.
Do what?
The lady that's in the electric department, she was asked to give a report back in, when they were involved in this.
They
She
never,
didn't, she didn't give one.
they never did any reports.
He's talking about Lewis asking for those numbers from
Oh.
there.
Louis should have had those numbers. We already paid for those numbers.
I know it, but the lady didn't give them the report. They asked her to have so they could make the numbers.
He should have had them 6 months ago.
Well, she should have given out 6 months ago.
No.
She didn't ever
You're
give them
missing the point.
out. No, I ain't.
Yes, they had billed us and failed to deliver any products. They failed to even make any contact. And I just informed Louis that I just didn't need this kind of work. And so, will you get nothing for it?
Yeah, $13,500 is a lot of money to spend when we don't have anything to show for it, and they didn't do any reports.
Well, I mean,
That's
if they
just
were
my
asked for a
opinion.
report from our office, and we didn't ever give them a report, to get their report to us. You follow me?
He didn't ask for them, I'm sorry, Commissioner David, he didn't ask for them until recently. It was a recent,
No, ma'am, you may not.
to my knowledge, he had asked for them recently, sent her an email asking for them.
Back in the brand, it's true. Oh, he sent me the information through the report.
That was after the third bill came in. Was that not after the third bill came in
Yeah.
for $4,500? Yeah.
The new contract, how much is their reporter?
Sir?
Or new
He's not by the quarter, he's by the hour. Yes, sir. Whatever work he does, he charges us for.
Oh,
And he's done a significant amount of work trying to get all these rates and everything together. Or if you could see the documents that the utility committee got, he's put a lot of time in to get some order in what we have, so that those reports that they were charging us for, we can actually do them ourselves.
okay. But y'all got, you're on the utility commission, right? What kind of report did y'all get we didn't get?
We had a meeting with the consultant, and the two of us, and Mr. Clark, he went over all the information. I'm sure we can get the information for you if you
Why
want it.
can't all the town board have a meeting together?
You can't have it because you have a quorum, and unless you want to call a special meeting, you can't just have all of you together. You can have no more than 2.
Is there voting involved in that?
No.
sir.
Mm-mm.
And it's just like I'm gonna meet with you and Jeff here soon about an issue. You know, that you're on the public safety committee, and your function is to help advise on the public safety issues.
I understand that, but if you don't vote, then there's a quorum in it.
Yes, it is.
The-
When you get together, it's a quorum.
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
3 or more of you more than 2 get together, you have a quorum.
Okay, but, 3 towns, were they all involved in it?
No.
No, sir. This
Just
was,
the town of-
It was
This was-
just me, Dennis, Mr. Clark, and Mr. Willoughby.
yeah, and
That's
this
it.
dealt not absolutely 100% with just our rates. We talked a little bit about the power supply agreement and also the gas contract that we have. But generally speaking, it was all about the town of Blue Common.
Are there any additional questions, Commissioner?
No, they ain't.
All right. Is there a motion on the floor to approve the minutes and the final financial report?
I guess now I'm gonna bring this up. I'd like the, minutes from the last meeting, be amended to reflect,
For which one?
item 7.
For
And
budget
for-
workshop or the actual?
The forestry program.
Oh, yes.
I'd like for, the minutes to reflect the questions and concerns that I had during that presentation.
A summary of that.
And also, he said he was gonna give us a copy of that presentation. Okay, because I never saw it.
Yeah.
Okay.
commissioners a year asking for a summary of the questions that you asked.
Do we need to hold off on voting on the minutes till next meeting till those changes are made?
Yes, I think that if there are significant changes and you don't have them written out, I think we would probably just put those minutes on the next agenda. Or if you just kind of tell me specifically what it is you want, and that's the appropriate way to handle it.
Chair recognizes, Commissioner, D. Johnson. Go ahead.
What we ever do about lights on Marvin Road and street lights, and what get paid for?
Lights on Mobley Road.
Marvin Road, that subdivision,
You're talking about Gabriel's Way.
yeah.
I do not believe that we have come to this decision about that. There has been much discussion concerning that issue yet, but we have still not come to a full decision.
Are they gonna stay getting
Commissioner-
lights for free?
Well, Commissioner Ford, hold on a second. Commissioner Joyner and Commissioner Ford have been working on that, but they have not come to a decision as of yet.
What we're seeing, what we need to do first is to find out what it's gonna cost, what it costs to run a street light. We're working on, Mr. Clark, we're with Mr. Clark and the company, we're working on getting the inventory of our poles, our street lights, finding out what they cost us. We don't know what a street light costs us to run. So until when we inherited that, it's ours, including the street lights. So until we get an idea exactly what it cost us, we don't know exactly what to bill them, because they're not area lights. Like I first thought that I get charged for an area light, so I know what that costs. So that's one of the things we're working on, until we get that inventory completed, and I'm not sure exactly the timeline on that. But I agree wholeheartedly that they need to be charged something, we're just not exactly sure what to charge them yet.
Yes. And Gabriel, were you working on something at one point in time?
No, the question came up and I think my suggestion at the time was you need to look at doing a separate rate for that.
Okay,
And,
okay.
and that's what y'all were
All right,
working on.
that's what we're working on. We're on the right track. Okay, thank you.
Are there additional questions there, Commissioner?
And another comment, David, is that my goal with Mr. Clark was to have something in our, somewhere so that it doesn't happen again, so that we're a little more aware, maybe if somebody else decides.
Yeah.
Because
there's another-
Somewhere.
They're building another little subdivision down Little Rock Church Road out there, and it's the same builder as that one, so they're liable to put lights in like they did out here, so we need to know what to do when that happens, since we're already dealing with this. Yeah.
And I have spoken with Tom on that issue as well, and they said that it's gonna be difficult to figure out how to repair that in case lights do go out there, because right now, we would have to create contracting to repair it, because we can invest $500,000, $600,000 in equipment. The problem is that it's a rarity that they do go out there, and all that, it would be a waste of money to invest in that amount of repair equipment and then not be used.
Has anyone looked into any of their,
Contracts, HOAs, when they bought those homes?
yeah, they're buying whatever, when they bought their properties, if there's anything covered in any of that, because I talked to someone in another subdivision and their, paperwork does, reflect in their road and how the road is to be handled once all the properties were sold in that subdivision. And, I talked to someone that is a engineer, and he basically told me the same thing, that it may be in their closing papers,
That's,
how they would be handled. He also told me that if those lights were back off the right of way, and he said if they're more than 25 feet from the center of that road, they are actually the property of the homeowner.
and I know, in our last house that we bought, in our contract, it did state about street lights and road repair, and that we would have to get an HOA together to make plans to pay for those things. So, I mean, I can't believe a builder in this day and time would have them sign something and wouldn't have something like that in there saying, they were gonna be responsible for that. So, I know they don't wanna do a HOA, I understand that, I don't wanna live where a HOA is either, but either you live in town or you live outside of town, and they're two different things, so.
With the exception of, I'm sorry, Commissioner.
I was just gonna say, there's not a lot of lots out there, and there's a lot of houses in between that, you know, I don't think, had to do it, no, it doesn't look like they would, benefit from the lights as much as they were situated, but there's only, there's like 45 houses and 6 lights. So there's space, there's good space in between, and there's a lot of houses in between where the lights are, and I don't know.
Four.
With the exception of Commissioner Teague's request for minutes, is there an approval for at least a financial report for this month? Is there a motion on the floor for that?
I make a motion.
Is the financial report only, is the motion seconded?
What was the motion, I'm sorry?
The-
Financial
Just for
report.
financial report, with the exception of what you requested.
I second.
All in favor by saying aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to welcoming of guests, we have no guests of this evening. Moving on to public comments, currently right now I have no one scheduled. However, I will provide the opportunity as the public wish to comment on any of the issues that we're discussing. No, all right. Moving on to old business, I do have one item of old business that needs to be brought up. Has the board been able to, I know that last month I presented a prayer policy that was written by Liberty Counsel, that was drawn up by their law firm, and that they requested that they have time to review that. Has the board had time to do that?
Yeah.
Have they?
Mm-hmm.
Then can we, is there a decision then, can we send this to counsel for his review and then his opinion on the matter, and then moving on from there?
I don't see any of that.
I'm sorry?
I don't see any of that.
All right. Then are we asking for a vote on this?
A vote on.
This adoption of the prayer policy? It is what what you requested.
I did.
I make a motion to do a moment of silence, about 5 to 10 seconds for everything.
Okay.
I said that in motion.
Very well, it's for all right. For a moment of silence. Obviously, the motion's been seconded. All in favor by saying aye. All opposed? Opposed carries. All right, new business. Chair recognizes Mr. Ralph Clark.
And I have three things here that all relate to the CDBG, or the Community Development Block Grant, that we have been working on, I think, for a couple of years. And in going through there, the first one is the anti-displacement and relocation assistance plan. And the second one is an updated equal employment opportunity policy and plan. And the third one is an administrative amendment to our agreement with them, which I read the old agreement, and basically there was, the old agreement said you had to have a termination clause, but they didn't put a termination clause in here. So they sent this one to us to see if we can approve, and I don't see any problem with any of these being, they're consistent with the laws and consistent with the programs, and it's just it's paperwork that we have to do to comply. So I would recommend that all three of these, and if you wanted, to me, if you could do them all in one motion, it wouldn't make any difference to me. I don't think they all relate to the same CDBG project.
I make a motion that we accept these items from the CDBG project. Do I, Jeff?
I would like to look at into it some more.
Okay.
say the CDD project, are we speaking just merely on this document here, or the entire documents that you have under new business?
I said all three,
All
but yeah,
three.
whatever you want to do.
I just wanna make sure
Yeah.
that we're clear, that's all. So,
Okay. Can we table them until next month, and then we'll have time to look at them?
I second that.
If it'll make you happy, I don't care. Yeah, I just.
Alright, I make a motion that we table it till next month. Go, David.
well, there's already a motion on the floor, and
I don't know what to do about that one.
there's already a motion on the floor, and that's been seconded by,
No, he didn't second my motion.
he did not.
No.
No, he did not.
He seconded Kim's.
He seconded, he
Seconded
seconded one
Kim's
in what?
I'll just take mine back. I don't have mine.
All right, so you withdraw
I'll
your
withdraw
motion?
it.
All right, withdraw your motion.
Okay, that can be.
So we are moving on to make sure we have a motion on the floor by Commissioner Joyner to table this and so that this could be reviewed, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
I need to read these three amendments.
And then, Commissioner Johnson, you have seconded that, is that correct?
Sir,
You seconded to table this until next month. All right, very well. Is, all in favor by, adopting this, for tabling for next month, or just merely for reading it? All in favor by saying aye? All opposed? All right, town administrator report,
I got something if I can on new business.
new business. Or sir, go ahead and present. Chair recognizes Commissioner, Jay Johnson.
Everyone knows that the sheriff department will be leaving at the end of the month. We appreciate the services. We're direct, patrol here. I've been talking to somebody in the county about trying to get the, community watch program back in the town like it was in the past. And get back with me on some information on that. If they don't serve it no more, and still ask to see what can be done. It don't matter how many law enforcement you got around, they ain't gonna happen.
They are gonna happen.
Doesn't matter if you got 100 people standing right there outside the door there, they ain't gonna happen, correct?
Correct.
Yes.
I've been in for 30 years, I know.
We just got to be more vigilant, all of
So
us.
as soon as I get more information, I'll bring that back to you, hopefully the next meeting, if not before.
So this is merely for informational purposes there, Commissioner, okay.
People should be more vigilant when they're driving by the parking lot, is what I'm saying.
Well, anyway.
Mr. Clark, do you have an administrator report?
Sure.
All right, sir, proceed.
I want to talk a little bit about some of the things we have going on. The electric capital project program, you know, the power line work, we're having a pre-bid meeting scheduled for this Thursday, June 6th, here. And then the bids will be in on Thursday, June 20th for these projects. I talked to Tom this morning, we talked about the pole replacement program, and we continue to move, we're progressing pretty much on schedule.
I started this pool inspection.
Not the inspection, no, it's not.
Okay.
Yeah, we're having a preliminary meeting with Osmos, who is the company that's doing the pole inventory. And we're trying to get it in the next 2 or 3 days. And so that's, once the project is started, it's gonna move on pretty quickly because we don't have a whole lot of poles to do, and they're tying us into a little piece of Wilson's work, so they need to get out of here, so. But we see that project starting, not too far down the road. The pole attachment agreements, you know, you've got green light that's complete and it's ready for building as soon as they get the connections, attachments to that pole. We have talked to Spectrum, and they are reviewing the agreement, and approval is expected soon. The same thing with Brightspeed. Brightspeed is the old Carolina telephone that we know it, and it's a little bit of gray area in the Brightspeed, but we think we're gonna find out to agree on. And basically, Brightspeed is an old telephone company, and telephones are little by little trying to get out. So years ago, that we had what we call joint ownership. And today, we couldn't tell you who owns what. So we're gonna assume with Brightspeed, and hopefully they will agree, that all the poles are our responsibility, and they will pay an attachment fee. So, but those seem to be moving along pretty well. Once the attachment agreements are agreed upon and you approve them, we will start the billing process, and it appears, based on what we know right now, the attachments will be billed at from $5 to $11 range. And of course, the inventory will tell us who's attached to our poles and how many attachments are, so we'll start the billing process for that. So that's a piece of revenue that we haven't been getting. Under the water and wastewater, the AIA for both of them are underway, but the inspection of the sewer lines we're trying to get a pre-construction meeting scheduled sometime over the next few days. And that will get that project started, and the rate study that I referred to earlier is underway, and I expect them to have this finished by late summer. For the water and sewer, yeah, the water and sewer rate study.
When is, green light supposed to be completed? Do you have that?
I don't have a clue, and I haven't kept up with green light, and not even sure where they are in the process. I know they've been here working. I get a lot of locates, and they're coming from them. So it's obviously they either in here or somewhere expecting to be here soon.
Any additional information, Mr. Clark?
Now, I have one thing that I'm gonna bring next month that ties into your rates, your your electric rates, and we talked to the committee about this. And in most, every utility I've worked in, they had what they call tariff sheets. And basically it defines the service that you give to your customer and what puts you in that category, and what your responsibilities are and ours. I'm gonna bring these next month to you for approval, just to get them on the record to say, okay, they have been approved. It has the rates here, but it's a schedule that basically identifies why you're in that category and what determines whatever what rate service or rate structure you go under. So I'm gonna bring those at your next meeting, and put those on the agenda for approval. I have nothing else.
All right, sir. Thank you. Moving on, is there a motion on the floor for adjournment?
I'll make a motion for